Hey guys, so we are on Ms Bixby's last day. We are on chapter 13, Topher's chapter. Last we know, Brand walked in with his friends to see Ms Bixby and suddenly he's speechless. We learned a lot about every child that or character in this book, how they've connected with Ms Bixby, and now we finally got to the hospital and we're coming in from Topher's perspective. Topher. You have to slay the dragon to be the hero. Not easy to do, but at least you know what you're dealing with. Dragons are easy to spot. They live in caves and have large, leathery wings and smoke seeping out of their nostrils. They cool their hot bellies on rolling waves of hoarded gold. They might as well have a sign that says, "Slay me," dangling from their necks. But there are no such things as dragons. It's never that clear-cut. Sometimes the thing you're fighting against is hiding from you. It's tucked away, buried deep, where you can't see it. In fact, for a long time, you might not even know it's there. Maybe when it starts, it's just this tiny thing you don't even notice. Maybe you mistake it for something else, or you ignore it. But then it starts to grow, and before you know it, it's stalking you. Before you know it, it has you concerned. Maybe it's a secret that you're afraid to share because you don't know what other people will think of you, especially your friends. Maybe it's a sister that you're constantly compared to, who seems better than you in every way, even though she has pretty much the same problems you do. Or maybe it's just a feeling, a nagging hole, a sense that nobody really understands or appreciates you. A sense that you don't really matter. That is, until you find your teacher digging through the bin one day and see the treasures buried in her bottom drawer. Of course, sometimes it really is a dragon, or at least is a monster, determined to destroy you or someone you care about from the inside out. And you know it's there. You just have no idea how to stop it. So for this, when he says something like, it's something, a monster determined to destroy you from inside out, someone you care about, I'm thinking he's talking about the cancer in Ms Bixby. I know what I'm going to say when we open the door. I figured it out on the walk over. I mean, there were a lot of options, but what I've got is killer. We stand outside room 428 and Bran knocks softly. I think about the sketch still stashed in my backpack. I should have folded it up and put it in my pocket. Made it easier to get to. But today's one of those shoulda kind of days. There will still be time to give it to her. A voice calls us to come in and Bran opens the door. Someone looks over at me from the bed. It's not Ms Bixby. Ms Bixby has light brown hair with a stripe of pink in her bangs like strawberry syrup. Ms Bixby has bright green eyes that make you think she is half cat. Ms Bixby wears bright sweaters and boots that reach up to her knees and dangly earrings that look like she made them herself. The woman in the bed has no hair. The woman in the bed just staring at us with her mouth hanging open, sallow-cheeked and pale, is not Ms Bixby. And for a moment I think we've got the wrong room, that for the first time in his life Steve actually remembered something wrong. But then the woman propped herself up on her elbows and gives me an inquisitive smile. I don't know. Don't I know you from somewhere smile? I take a step into the room, clear my throat, and deliver my line. I'm Luke Skywalker, I say. I'm here to rescue you. Beside me, Bran's mouth opens and closes suddenly. And the woman in the bed answers, Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? That's when I know it's her. I brought some friends, I say, stepping aside so Bran and Steve can squeeze by. Steve waves sheepishly. Bran doesn't say anything, but he and Ms B exchange a look. It doesn't last long, a half a second maybe? Ms B scoots up even further in her bed. Wow, she says, which is what she says both when she's impressed with your work and when you've done something all wrong. I guess this could go either way. Her voice is raspy, faltering. What are you three doing here? She looks up at the clock by the television. It's 1:30 in the afternoon on a school day. She punctuates the school. But she's not really mad. You can see it in her dark-rimmed glasses. It's not an accusation, more of a curiosity. But I can tell she really didn't see this coming. We have the element of surprise. We heard you were leaving, Bran says finally, like skipping town, and we didn't get a chance to say goodbye. Today's your last day, Steve adds. Ms Bixby makes a little sound like she's got something caught in her throat. At school, he means, I add, giving Steve a kick in the shin. So what other last day could he mean? Obviously. Yeah, so they both kind of made that even more awkward. Right, Ms Bixby whispers. The party. So sorry about that. She looks past us down the hall. You didn't all come, did you? She asked nervously, leaning up on her elbows, looking for her other 20 or so students. Just the three of us, I say. We got you these. I handed her a bag of French fries that I was forbidden by Nurse Georgia to share. But on the list of things I've already done today, feeding greasy French fries to a cancer patient seems like a mild offense. Miss Bixby questions us with her eyes, then reaches for the bag and opens it cautiously, as if she expects a trick, a dead mouse, a springing coil snake. I've fallen for those same tricks before, when Bran first became friends with us, before I learned his tricks. She looked confused at first, then she put a trembling hand to her mouth. There are bandages all over her arms. Oh my God, she says. Because of what I said that time about... Are they all right? Steve asks. They're McDonald's. Ms Bixby grins. Are you kidding? I haven't had these in months. She presses her face into the bag and takes 3 giant whiffs, like she's hyperventilating. Maybe she is. French fries are truly one of mankind's greatest inventions. There's more, I say. We got everything, or almost everything, or some version of everything. But we can't do it here. Everything? Miss Bixby closes the bag and stares at me. So it looks like we're starting to get to why they did this certain plan. I try to look straight at her, but it's hard. She looks so different, especially without the hair. I expected her to look different. At least I knew there was a possibility, but I wasn't prepared for how fragile she would be. She barely motions. At school, she can't keep still. I'm not used to seeing her just lie there. Can't do what here? What are you talking about? You just have to trust us, I tell her. There's a place to go. It's just outside, maybe a block away, but we have to get you out of here. I look over to Bran for confirmation, but he is busy staring out at Miss Bixby's window, as if he can't look at her either. Steve nods, at least, backing me up. There's not enough square feet to even lay out a blanket in here, he says, Steve's idea of an explanation. From her bed, Ms. Bixby starts shaking her head. Her eyes are swollen like Steve's bottom lip. I'm not sure if she totally gets it or not, but I can tell she's catching on. Oh, my boys. This is so... It's really very sweet, she says. But I can't just leave. I'm sorry. They won't. I'm not. See? I'm scheduled for a treatment, and just look at how I'm dressed. She points to the blue hospital gown that peeks out from the covers. I'm really supposed to stay here. She looks at us pleadingly, but I'm not about to give up. I'm about to tell her about all the cheesecake when Bran turns from the window. Atticus Finch, he says. What? I say, looking at him strangely. The words are completely meaningless to me, but they seem to spark something in Miss Bixby. Bran is looking right at her now. He's almost a little angry, as if he's challenging her. You read it, she asks. Bran nods. Miss Bixby turns to Steve and me. And you 3 skipped school and came out all the way just to tell me goodbye. It was Bran's idea, Steve says, almost defensively, probably thinking he's about to get in trouble. That's not even half of it, I tell her, but we can't do it here. Not the way we're supposed to. At least let us get this part right. Ms. Bixby looks down at her bag of fries, then she cranes her neck to see past the 3 of us and out the door. I can see the sparkle come back into her eyes, just for a moment. All right, she says. Meet me at the elevator in 5. We stand outside the elevators, backs pressed against our packs pressed against the wall. Steve is probably crushing what's left of the white chocolate raspberry heaven, but I'm guessing it really can't look any worse at this point. I'm staring at a poster urging me to eat healthy with a stupid picture of a kid smiling over a plate of broccoli like it's a bowl of Lucky Charms. Behind the desk, Nurse Georgia is occupied with her phone and computer, frantically switching from one to the other, which is good, because it means she's ignoring us. She doesn't look like a Georgia. She looks more like a Helga or Svetlana, like something out of a Norse mythology. Broad-shouldered and brick-chinned with plaited blonde hair, like she should be guarding the bridge of Valhalla. Thor would completely dig her. Atticus Finch. Is that some kind of bird? Steve whispers. He doesn't want to draw any of Nurse George's attention. It's a character, Bran whispers back, from a book written like 50 years ago. Is he a superhero or something, I ask? It sounds like the name of a superhero, or a secret identity anyways. Mild-mannered reporter, Atticus Finch. Obviously, it's a decent book, or Ms Bixby wouldn't have told Bran to read it. But having superheroes would be a bonus. He's a lawyer, Bran said, but the book's not really about him. Then what's it about? It's about standing up for what's right, I guess. Oh, I say. Is there any sword fighting in it? Bran shakes his head. He's not doing a great job selling it, but I'll make it a point to read it some days, even without the sword fighting. Behind the desk, Nurse Georgia groans and taps frantically on her mouse. I wonder how many books Miss Bixby has recommended to Bran. Wonder if they talked about what they read as they steered their carts up and down aisles of Kroger, shopping for salsa and shredded wheat. Did he know the brand of shampoo she used, or what she fed her cat, if she drank 2% milk or some of that nasty organic almond stuff? Did he know if Miss Bixby ate frosted or unfrosted Pop-Tarts? These are things I kind of wish I knew. Things I suddenly wish I had the time to find out like he did. Bran hisses and points down the hall. Here she comes, out of her gown, but still in her slippers, wearing a pair of navy blue sweatpants, a sweatshirt that says Hofstra on it, and a sly smile that stretches near to her eyeballs. She's sliding across the tiles, much more ninja-like than me, even in her condition. In one hand is the bag of fries, the other holds a giant purse. Bran presses the elevator button. Normally, we'd place bets on which one would come up first, but sneaking a cancer patient out of a hospital calls for our full attention. I look over to make sure Nurse Georgia is still staring at a computer screen and jabbering on the phone. The elevator rings and the door slides open. Miss Bixby starts pushing us inside, telling us to hurry. I can't believe I'm doing this, she says. Believe it, Toots, I say, which is a line from a movie, though I'm not sure what the movie is, and I have no idea what Toots means. Judging by the severe look on Miss Bixby's face, it's probably not a word I should use again. Bran presses the L button at least 10 times. Come on, he says. Behind the desk, Nurse Georgia hears his coaxing and frantic pressing and glances up from her computer. She pulls the phone down from her ear and cups it, speaking through a frown. Miss Bixby, is that you? Miss Bixby steps behind Steve, even though he's the shortest of us and can't possibly conceal her. Bran jams his thumb into the closed door button this time, just holding it there. I think about the scene from Aliens, where they wait for an eternity for the elevator doors to close, and the one guy gets sprayed with acid. Elevators are the worst. Miss Bixby, where are you going? Miss Bixby shrugs. Nurse Georgia stands up. Looks like she is going to leap right over that desk and come after us. A Valkyrie charge. I suddenly wonder if she has the power to call down lightning from the sky. The elevator doors start to close. Miss Bixby, she calls again, voice growing steadily louder. You have a treatment scheduled. And then Nurse Georgia is gone. The elevator drops. The numbers start flashing down. 4 to 2 to 3. I start whispering to myself, holding one hand to my ear. All right. So they made it to the elevator. We still have to tune in to find out where they're going and where this plan is taking them. All right. See you guys at part 2.